Hi, I'm Carol Sakianis, team leader with Ruby Ribbon.
And I'm Valerie Letcher, an independent stylist with Ruby Ribbon. And we'd like to tell you
our story.
So about 3 years ago, I fell in love with the traditional bootleg pants from Jockey Person to Person. They were so comfortable that I decided to become a comfort stylist just to get lots more pants. However, at that time in my life, I was really struggling as a somewhat newer mom. I had 3 children, but I had them very close together. And I was just a little bit overwhelmed in my life, and it wasn't the right time or the right season.
And 3 years ago, in the same time frame, I was introduced to Jockey Person to Person and purchased this reversible activewear jacket that I absolutely loved. And I decided to come on board as a Jockey Person to Person stylist.
So we're going to fast forward a little bit to about 3 months ago. 3 months ago, I had just had our youngest child, Gavin, and I was really struggling with some security issues because I have a condition called diastasis recti. And what that is my abs have kind of split apart from having multiple children in a small amount of time. And I pretty much always look like I'm expecting. Even if I lose all of my baby weight, I still have a trouble area there. So I remembered Jockey Person to Person, and I remembered how flattering their clothes were. I decided to go ahead and go on their website and see if there was a comfort specialist in Maine.
I received an email from Val that she was looking for a stylist to come and so she could host a party and get some clothes. And so I called her and left a message.
She told me that she had great news and I should call her back right away. So I did. I was thrilled. I was so excited there was going to be a comfort stylist in Maine and I could have a party. But that wasn't exactly her news. She actually said there wasn't anybody in Maine and she was a good 6 hours away, but there was a wonderful promotion going on and I should consider becoming a stylist again. I had absolutely no interest in becoming a stylist. I think that God had a little bit of a different plan.
And after talking to Val a few times on the phone, we were fast friends. It was so much fun. And I encouraged her to continue with her jockey business.
Yes, and I actually really enjoyed it this time. I was in a better place emotionally. I was loving the parties. My sales were going well. And one day I found out that I had won my choice of jacket for the spring season. I was so excited. And then the bottom kind of dropped out. Carol called me and she said, Val, I need to talk to you. I've got some bad news for you. And I thought, oh no, I'm not going to get my jacket.
But no, unfortunately, I called with even worse news, and that Jockey was had decided to close their person-to-person division.
We were both devastated.
So we did some research and looked at the top 100 direct sales companies, and honestly, just nothing clicked.
And I was searching around online one day and randomly stumbled across the Ruby Ribbon website, and something about it just really tugged at my heartstrings. It was such a beautiful site, and the clothing was beautiful, but there was one thing I really wasn't so sure about, and that was the shapewear. It's not that I didn't like shapewear or the idea of shapewear. Matter of fact, I was in the market for it. I just wasn't sure how I would feel selling it. I'm kind of modest and conservative, and it made me nervous. So I decided to go ahead and just like the Facebook page so I'd remember to go back as a customer and check out their product. And then I moved on from there.
And Val called me and she told me about Ruby Ribbon, and I took a look too and I was definitely interested. So I called some of our leaders, and it turned out they were looking at Ruby Ribbon as one of the possibilities for us to join.
And because I had liked their Facebook page, I started noticing advertisements on my computer that were beautiful and enticing, and it just kept drawing me back. So I kept going back, even though I wasn't sure about the whole shapewear thing. I kept going back to their website, and I noticed that they had an opportunity call. So I thought, oh, what the heck, why not call?
I was really intrigued by the company as well, but I was still grieving Jockey, so I wasn't quite ready.
And after the webinar, I started getting a little bit more confident about the idea, and I started communicating with Tracy, who works over at Ruby Ribbon, and she was telling me all about the company and some of the technology things they were working on and some exciting things about possible virtual shows and all that kind of thing. And something clicked in my heart and I was like, I'm going to try this thing.
When Val talked to me about her excitement, I decided to also go on an opportunity call, and I was very impressed with the support in the back office and the way it was presented to us.
And so now we're all in, and we are so pumped.
So excited
about Ruby Ribbon.
Loving the clothes.
Yes, we are. We actually have met for the first time this weekend. I live in Maine, and Carol lives in Connecticut. It's a 6-hour drive, but we really wanted to make it happen, and we've really had fun. It's a blast. But so after we had both signed on, I heard that the pack was going to take a little while to get here, and I had a party that was coming up in just the next couple of days. So I just kept thinking, I really want some product. I really want some product. So I called Ruby Ribbon, and I begged them to overnight me just 1 or 2 items. And I thought it was impossible. However, they did everything they could, and they made it happen. And 15 minutes before my party started, the package showed up.
Just in the nick of time.
Just in the nick of time. And it was beautifully packaged. The logo, the paper that says beauty inside and out. It just, everything about it was wonderful. And I hadn't even tried it on yet. So I decided to go ahead and try it on, and I tried it on, and instantly I felt so much more confident because that belly area just diminished greatly. So I decided that I was going to start out my show with the shapewear on. I was actually wearing a full support cami. So I started it out with it on, and then halfway through the presentation about Ruby Ribbon, I said I was going to go in the back room and do some tweaking. So I went in the back room and I took it off, and I came back out and I said, this is how I look when I'm not wearing the shapewear. I thought for sure that because I had a rack full of clothes that were 50 to 75% off, Ruby Ribbon wasn't really going to be something that was paid for that night. I thought they'd get the idea in their head, and then going forward they might buy some. I was wrong. I sold $171 worth of stuff with nothing but a couple of items and absolutely no training. It was awesome. It was really, really cool.
A similar thing happened to me before my first show, right after I received my Ruby Ribbon packet, and I hadn't even had a chance to open it up. So I quickly went through and pulled on the classic cami right before people came, and it was unbelievably comfortable. I have to say I haven't had a previous positive experience with shapewear, so that made me feel so much better about the product right away, right out of the box. And then when people came, they started to pull things out of my box because I still had, I hadn't had a chance to get it ready, and I started to sell some of the things too, and I'm really excited about the product.
Yeah, it really is awesome, and just a couple of things about the shapewear that really sets it apart. One is it doesn't move up and down. I'd tried everything. I'd tried biker shorts, I'd tried Spanx, I'd tried everything, and it never would stay in place. And they've developed a special technology, a silicone technology, that keeps it right in place. After I had that initial party where I sold the $171, I decided that all of my future jockey parties, jockey person to person, I was going to go ahead and present the Ruby Ribbon stuff. So the next 2 parties, I actually did have my kit, and they did amazing. I sold, it was pretty much half and half with jockey person to person and Ruby Ribbon, even though jockey was 50 to 75% off. So I'm amazed and thrilled and excited. The product is unbelievable. The shapewear doesn't move. It's beautiful. It's comfortable. I really can't even believe it's shapewear.
I know.
I don't even really think of it that way.
I forget I have it on.
Yeah, except for all the compliments and people asking me, have I lost some weight? Not quite, not yet. Working on it.
Right.
So that being said, both Carol and I have gotten a lot of questions as to what made you decide to go with Ruby Ribbon when you had all of those choices out there. And we'd like to kind of, as we've shared some of them with you, some of our reasons why we did it, but we'd like to share with you some reasons why we think you should consider Ruby Ribbon as an opportunity.
As Valerie was saying, definitely the number one reason is the shapewear is so comfortable. And there are other pieces too, so I think there's going to be something for everyone with the 3 different choices.
Yeah, there's the shapewear, and then shaping essentials, the clothing that has the shapewear right inside it, and then beautiful layers.
Layering. Right, and then there's all the back office support. I was really impressed with their website and the ordering, and they've made it quite easy to learn about the product and how to present, how to set up your rack. and their webinars are fantastic. I'm very impressed with the technology. I think that's a very good reason to choose Ruby Ribbon.
Yeah, it's an amazing recruiting tool to just be able to say, hey, just join me on this call. It's not hard work at all, and it got both of us.
Yes.
They're doing a great job in the back office. Very, very supportive, and we both were very impressed with Anna, the CEO. She's just so involved, and that's wonderful. We both were impressed with that. Thank you so much for listening to our scattered thoughts of why we love Ruby Ribbon and why we think it might be a good fit for you.
Now you've heard our story. We'd love to hear yours.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Somewhat modest and conservative, and I was afraid it would be really hard to sell. Her husband sneezed.
I know.
Anyway,
I continued to look, but also to call our direct. So about 3 years ago, I am done. Really appreciate you taking the time to listen. Yes, thank you. And
We can both thank them.
I know I could have done that.